once again joined alongside Stephen Caldwell and Julian de Guzman. All right, boys, speculation no more. The Euro 2024 draw is officially complete. And my goodness, the tournament's starting to come into focus. We've got some exciting matches to look forward to. Initial impression from the group so far, what stood out in your opinion?
I think quite a balanced sort of draw, Jules. Yeah. Not necessarily the group of death that we were expecting. I think there's some groups there, some interesting matchups. But ultimately, when you look at these teams, I mean, for me, obviously, the first game, Germany-Scotland, I think is going to be really exciting. It's going to be a good match. That, in my opinion, as well, is a very competitive group with Hungary and Switzerland joining there. And as you look down, you know, you've got Spain, Croatia, Italy. They're going to be heavyweights. Group B might just be the group of death for me, but Albania in there maybe makes that fourth team a little softer. Yeah, Austria, France, Netherlands, it's another good one, isn't it, Jules?
Yeah, no, lots of good rivalries in there for sure. Yeah, Group A, B, and D stand out the most for me in terms of you know, a lot of competitive and excitement teams that would be facing each other. The Group B was probably the most competitive one between those three: Spain, Croatia, Italy. But again, the way this works, Stevie, as you know, finishing third, it comes down to getting up at least 4 points,
enough
right?
Points, yeah, enough points to get through. So you look at some of the ones when maybe there's a little bit of a weaker fourth team, the teams will think that they've got enough to get through, get the 4 points, and then when you've got the uncertainty of the playoff winners. But when I look at E as well, I'm expecting Ukraine to come through that playoff, and I think that's a very competitive one as well. You know, the balance of these pots, Lindsay, shows us that this is kind of panned out the way that probably UEFA wanted, where there's a lot of competition. There's certainly a lot of parity within the groups, but ultimately they want to see the best teams progress to the knockout stages to make this tournament complete.
Absolutely. All right, well, another standout group set for Euro 2024, as you boys mentioned, is Group B. For the first time since Euro 2008, they enter a major tournament without any of the stars from its last major title. They have a new emerging generation. They'll be without one of its brightest talents. Gavi suffered that season-ending knee injury in the final match day of qualifying. Let's take a look at Group B schedule. So, as mentioned, you have Spain, Croatia, June 15th, Italy, Albania, Croatia, Albania on June 19th, Spain and Italy again on the 20th, Albania, Spain, Croatia, and Italy. So, gentlemen, when you take a look at what we're anticipating for Group B, what jumps off the page to you as we look at some of these matches?
I think what's very exciting and interesting is that Spain are right in that first game against Croatia, Joel. So you want to see the big teams match up early in the group, so they've got everything to play for and they want to create an advantage. And then from Spain's point of view, they've got Italy next. So you can see a scenario where they maybe struggle against Croatia and then they got all the pressure on that second game against Italy. Yeah. So I think it's going to be exciting. Spain are a team who, as we know, when they're in possession, they control the ball, they get a goal in the lead. Very difficult to play against, but they're vulnerable. We saw it through qualification. When they go a goal behind, it's difficult for them to break teams down. Most teams sit back, get 11 behind the ball, and so I'll be excited to see how they play. Morata's in top form as well, I have to say, and if they can keep that focal point, Morata, whoever it's going to be up top, in the best of form, then they could be a threat.
Yeah, I think for Morata being that one guy that we remember in the tournament where he gets himself in great positions but not able to convert. That's the one thing that Spain has missed a lot in these tournaments. They do have a tough start, facing Croatia, facing Italy in those first two matches. So that's going to be extremely important for Spain to get a very strong start, finishing off against Albania. But again, Spain, for me, has regressed in terms of the type of football or team that they have been in the past. And, that's going to be a challenge, losing a guy like Gavi, who's been one of their star players in terms of creativity. So I'll be very interested to see how they match up against a lot of these teams. Their top player in my eyes right now is Rodri, and it's rare that you have a defensive midfielder being a top player for a team like Spain.
I think Spain-Croatia is going to be a really tight game. I don't expect it to be a lot of goals. It'll be two sides that are trying to dominate possession, that are trying to control the football. Have Croatia went past their best? We always say it, we always think it's coming, but Modric has played limited football this year. Can that trio of midfielders be as dominant as always? And, you were going to get a game where it is going to be won and lost in the midfield. The team that has the most control in this first match, Spain-Croatia, of this group, will be in the ascendancy, and the team that most likely to go and win the game. So that'll be a brilliant midfield battle between You know, the best of Spain. Rodri will be there, Pedri will be there. Unfortunately, no Gavi, but you know, they've got so many quality midfielders, and you would think it will be Kovacic, Brozovic and Modric in that midfield. It's going to be mouth-watering to see who can hold the ball and dominate possession.
Yeah, lots of talent for sure. I think Italy have a great setup in their first 2 matches. You know, they have Albania and then Spain. So I think it's pretty much a setup for them to maybe even finish top in their group. But again, I think Group B, in terms of the quality of players and teams that they have in this tournament up against each other, it's going to be a dogfight to see who finishes top number 1 in the group.
Absolutely. Now let's go back to Italy, because in our pre-show we talked about best case, worst case scenarios, and we put some of the permutation into perspective. Now that we know how things look, how would you rate it overall?
Good. I think good for Italy. I know Spain and Croatia are great sides, but I think Albania will be very pleasing for Italy to see that there's a team there that they'll feel they can beat. You know, Italy, they never go into a major tournament not confident. No matter how they get there, if they squeak through it in the last seconds, they still head to that tournament feeling that they can do well. And I just hope Spalletti can have time with them, Jules. You know, it's difficult being an international head coach. You don't get enough time to really bed down your ideas and to be really clear on what you want to achieve. So can Spalletti get enough of a pre-camp where he can get that style that we love watching with Napoli and get this team really prepped and ready to go? Because if he can bring 5-10% to these players, bring a little bit extra, they could be really competitive coming through the groups with a bit of confidence and momentum. They could be dangerous.
Yeah, again, we've seen Italy in these top stage tournaments, and they find a way to come together. And they're a much younger group as well, you know, and you have some young talent guys like Chiesa, Jorginho, one of the more experienced players.
Yeah.
So there's a nice core that's walking into this group. And then, again, they're the defending champions. So whenever you're defending champions, you're going to always apply that pressure to yourself to, you know, contain that and prove to the world that you deserve that trophy. And this is going to be a team that's going to be very difficult to beat when they have their start against teams like Albania, Croatia, and then Spain.
Yeah.
Absolutely, especially what we saw with qualifying when it comes to Italy. All right, so that is Group B.